And in order to access the auxiliary input function, you'll do it this way. It is right here in the CD option, the CD button here. Press it once and press it again. And now, this second time that you press the CD button, you should get a message saying that this is the auxiliary input. But in this car, it's not enabled, so we'll have to enable that option by using the VCDS software, so that when we press this button twice, I can access the auxiliary input, and then the radio can reproduce Bluetooth or whatever. So let's try to do that. Okay, so I have connected to the car using VCDS. This is my laptop's screen, so I'm going to show you how to program the radio. So you'll go here to Model 56 radio, click there. And once the radio responds, right now, you'll go to coding, which is number 7 here. Click there. And you will see here the manufacturer's coding that has been programmed into this radio in particular. So in order to have the auxiliary input programmed, and I also, by the way, want to program the multifunction steering wheel, you just need to take a look at this section here. You'll see this question mark here that is pointing to the second digit from the left, meaning this 6 here. I have a question mark here. So right now it's number 6, so it's 4 plus 2 is number 6, so has a telephone updated, programmed, and a multifunction steering wheel too. But mine is not working, so I'm going to reprogram it anyways. So what I need to do is to replace this 6 here, the second digit from the left, with 2 plus 1, which is 3, which would be the analog input and the multifunction steering wheel. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to change this 6, and I'm going to change it to 3. Okay, so once it's done, click do it. Coding accepted, click OK, and close your controller. There you go. Now let's see what the radio does now. Okay, so we're back inside the car. Now let's see what the radio does.
Even though you went in forbearance,
okay, so let's click the CD button here. And now we have the external source input enabled here. That's great, and we're going to make sure that this is working once we get it wired up. If we click again the CD button, it's going to take us back to the CD changer. There's no CD right now, so it'll toggle back to the external source. That's how it works. But there you go. Look at that. Okay, now we have external source. Now let's see what happened with the steering wheel. My controls weren't working, so let's see what's going on here. So let's test out the volume.
Now, if you're going to get cash out, sorry, I don't want to.
That's fantastic. It's working. Now let's see this button here. And yeah, it works as well. Mode doesn't work with the radio, but this one is working. That's what I wanted. Volume, perfect, and the ability to change stations. That's awesome.
Garage space. Why don't you get paid for it?
Perfect.
And get paid
Success.
That's what.
Okay, let's keep on moving. Okay, so the next step in building the auxiliary port for this radio is actually wiring up the auxiliary port. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this 3.5 millimeter audio jack chassis mount, and I'm going to solder the 3 cables here, and I'm going to connect it to the radio. Now, in order to do so, you're going to need this kind of connector. This can be found on eBay. It's a bit expensive, but you can find it on eBay. Or the other thing that you can do is get yourself one of these pigtails. Actually, I got this one from my local junkyard. And you can pull out those connectors from here. You just need to, unplug this thing, and then just pry out this part here, like so, and then using one of these tools, just okay, like this, and there you have it. Okay, so this is very inexpensive, very easy to do. There you go. Okay. Okay, so if you look at your pinout diagram, you'll see that this pin here is auxiliary left, this pin here is auxiliary right, and this pin here is auxiliary ground. So what you'll need to do is just to plug in these connectors into these empty ports here, and then you will have your auxiliary input completely wired up. So I'm gonna solder these three to this one and continue the process. Okay, so this is the end result. I have soldered these three connectors to the 3.5 millimeter jack, and I also used some shrink tube just to make sure that these are completely isolated. And this is it. I mean, this is the interface. Now let's install this in the radio and let's see how it works. Cut. Okay, the last thing that I'm going to do is just to make sure that I can identify here which one of these three cables is ground, which one is the right channel, and which one is the left channel. To do so, I just need to know the pinout of the 3.5 millimeter connector, and I know that this section here is ground, this section here is the right channel, and this section on top here is the left channel. So let's identify them. Let's see how it works. So first of all, let's identify the ground. Okay, ground is my white cable. Now let's do the right channel, which is the section in the middle here. So right. Okay, right is purple. And lastly, the left would be blue. There you go. I have identified my three cables, and then I can go and make the connections in the right places in this connector here in the car. All right, so I have removed the radio from the car. You'll need some special tools to do that. There are some videos here on YouTube that you can watch for that. It's really straightforward if you have the right tools. Now, this is the main connector, and here is where we are going to connect our new auxiliary input. If you look at the diagram that I have posted here in the video, it's easy to identify, the position of the connectors. You will need also to remove this from the radio. This connector is pretty straightforward, and then you will have enough room to work. Okay, so next step, let's remove the blue connector. There you go. Okay, here's the blue connector. Okay, just removed from here, and then we need to take out the black connector from here. So let's do it this way. There you go. Now we have it out, and we're going to make the connections. Just don't forget how it goes, and let's start connecting the cables. Okay, so let's start connecting the leads from my 3.5 millimeter jack. I'm going to connect ground first, which in my case is the white cable here. Okay, so let's grab the blue connector. Let's take off the case here, put it aside. And I know that the ground is the third one from the right on the top row here. Okay, third one. So let's see. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and let's plug this in. right here. There you go. Now, the left lead, the left audio lead is this one here, the blue one for me. This one goes here. There you go. And lastly, the right channel lead goes down here. Okay, this way. And there you go. There you go. Okay. Okay, nice, tight. Now let's grab the blue case again, and let's put it back in place. Okay, just insert this here. There you go, and it should go back in here. Whoa, there you have it. There you have it. Now what we're going to do next, I'm going to use this 3.5 millimeter extension cable to test it out. So let's just plug it in here. Okay, and we'll connect it to the Bluetooth transmitter, and let's see how it goes. I have reinstalled the radio here, which is connected temporarily. I just want to test it out. And you know, this connector, this is the one that I got from the junkyard, but this connector is kind of tricky to connect, to plug and unplug. So just, I mean, for your reference, you just need to press down this tab here and then open it up this way, and it will detach from the radio. Okay, so it's this way. All right, so now that we have the radio back in place, sort of, I bought this thing from eBay, as I showed you before, this Bluetooth transmitter. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna connect it here to this adapter that I also bought on eBay, this 12-volt lighter adapter. So let's plug this in here. There you go. And then just connect the other end of my 3.5 millimeter cable. And let's test it out. All right, so I have connected my cell phone to the Bluetooth transmitter. And now let's see how the radio works. All right, so let's turn this thing on. Okay, now let's click the CD button here, external source, and then click play here. And there you have it.
All time, and her decision to drop
There you have
out
it.
of the 2020 Olympics.
We have enabled
Sabrina
this old
Tavares
Audi Symphony
spoke with our colleague in Tokyo,
to reproduce
Juliet
Bluetooth,
McClure.
and it's working just perfectly.
It's
It's a little bit, you know, of work, but it's well worth it. This is a very nice piece of equipment. Now, the last thing that I have to do is to find out how to, you know, route all this cabling, you know, so that it's not visible, and just put the radio back in, and that should be it. Eventually, what I'm going to do is probably I'm going to buy an you know, internal Bluetooth transmitter, one that I can connect from the inside of the dashboard, so that it's not, or it's a little bit more like a more cleaner installation, so to speak. I might do that later on. We'll see. But I mean, it's working. I could live with this for a while. I hope you like this video. If so, please like it, and see you next time.
Is someone you've been covering for very